What's cooking good looking? Today I have for you some fudgy red velvet brownies, all decked out just in time for Halloween. It's so easy you won't believe it. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and let's get baking. First things first, of course, we need to know what we need. You're gonna start with 1 cup of melted butter, 2/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 2 large eggs, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of white wine vinegar, or you can use plain distilled white vinegar if you don't have that, 1 teaspoon of red food dye, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and I also have in here 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then we also need 1 2/3 cup of all-purpose flour. For decorating, you're going to use about 10 large marshmallows, and optionally, I have some little candy bugs here. So the first thing we're gonna do here is we're just gonna sift together our dry ingredients. So that is simply our flour, cocoa powder, and our salt. For this recipe, it is so easy to put together. Normally I use my stand mixer when I bake, but I opted to just do it in a bowl with a whisk. You can do it with a whisk or a wooden spoon, or feel free to use your stand mixer. I just didn't feel like it this time. So once you've sifted it all together, just set it aside and grab a large mixing bowl along with a whisk or a wooden spoon, and we're going to mix together our melted butter with our sugars. Once you have that all well combined, go ahead and add in your eggs and mix those until they're fully incorporated. Next, we're going to toss in the remainder of our liquid ingredients, and that would be our vanilla and our vinegar to start. And like I said, you can use regular white vinegar. I chose to use the white wine vinegar because it just adds a little bit of pep and flair that's a little bit different from the very mild taste of distilled white vinegar. Go ahead then and add in your red food dye. You can choose your favorite. This is just the McCormick brand. And then go ahead and mix that together fully until it's all incorporated. And then we're going to gradually add in our dry ingredients. If you're using a stand mixer, make sure your setting is on low so you don't have flour all over your kitchen. I may or may not know a few times from personal experience. And I'm just switching over to my silicone spatula just because it's making the mixing together a little easier as the batter has gotten thick. This is when a wooden spoon comes in handy. I do not have one currently. It's shameful, I know. So we're going to use an 8x8 metal pan, and we have it lined with a piece of parchment paper, and I've also sprayed it with some nonstick cooking spray. I left the sides up, as you can see, just so it makes it easier to pull the brownies out once they're done. And then just go ahead and plop in your batter and make sure you spread it out so it's in a nice even layer. Baking pro tip, always make sure you scrape the bottom of your bowls so that you can get every last bit of batter or dough that you're working with. Waste not, want not. So we're going to put it in a preheated oven of 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to let that cook for about 35 to 45 minutes. You'll know it's done is when you stick a toothpick in the center and you will have a few wet crumbs on it. Not like a cake where it comes out clean. You want it to have just a little bit of crumb on it still. And we're gonna let it cool completely. Now for the super fun part, get your kids involved if you want and you have we're gonna decorate this. So let's just pull it out of our pan with those little handles. That's why we did that. Make sure this is pretty cool. You don't want to be decorating it if it's too hot. So just make sure that parchment paper is out of the way, and we're going to microwave our marshmallows for about a minute until they're fluffy and soft and puffy and no longer looking like marshmallows. So feel free to use gloves. I'm not worried about it. It washes off very easy. You're gonna pull the marshmallows between your fingers like this until it's very stringy and you get lots of bits and they're very cobwebby like. And then you're just going to lay it over the top. Use the corners and the edges as a way to kind of help get it off of your fingers and let it stick. If you want to add food coloring to the marshmallows after you've microwaved them, you can definitely do that too. I just wanted to keep it white because I like the nice contrast between the red velvet brownie and the white cobweb. And you're just going to keep on repeating this until you're satisfied. You can pull it as much or as little as you like. That's why I say getting kids involved with this is a lot of fun because kids love to get messy. So one thing to note, if you were planning on serving these brownies flat like this, then I might suggest cutting them before you put the cobwebs on them. It'll be a little bit more difficult to get the cobwebs on, but the presentation will overall be better. You will see once I get to cutting it, it kind of ruins the cobwebs just a little bit, but not to the point where they don't look super cute still. So once you're happy with your cobwebs, go ahead and you can sprinkle your little bugs on top if you have them. I will post a link down below in the description of all the tools I'm using, and I will also try to find these sprinkles for you guys if you're interested. They are the Wilton Candy brand, but I got them last year, so I'm not sure if they're still around. And now a tip on cutting it, because that marshmallow gets icky sticky, we're just gonna spray the blade of our knife with a little bit of butter flavored nonstick cooking spray. You can use whatever you have in your pantry, but this just helps so that the marshmallow doesn't stick to the knife too bad. Otherwise, you might end up pulling all the marshmallow off of your brownie, and we don't want that. So I'm just gonna cut it into about 25 pieces. These brownies are deliciously rich and decadent, so you really don't need a huge piece. Feel free to serve as large a pieces as you want. And just lightly respray your knife as needed while you're cutting. P.S. Don't mind my horrendous uneven cutting today. You win some, you lose some, folks. And there you have it. This is what it looks like before it's cut if you're going to serve it as one flat piece. And then I also have here what it looks like when it's all stacked up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I have a few more super fun Halloween themed treats coming for you this month, so don't miss it, and let me know how these went for you down in the comments. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye.